Hello, today I'm going to be showing you how to make deviled eggs. As you can see here, I hard-boiled my eggs before the video, so this is just how to make the deviled eggs. For this, you'll need mustard, mayonnaise, and relish. Dill relish works best. I also have my measuring spoons, a knife, a bowl to mix in, a bowl for my shells, and a plate to put the eggs. So first you're going to start by peeling the eggs. So it may be harder to do than others. It can make it easier if you want to peel them under running water. But just do whatever and make sure the shell is wholly done. Once I peel all my eggs, I always rinse them anyway, just because I think the shells are nasty if you accidentally leave one in there. So just make sure you peel away all the hard shell. See here, I'm being careful. I'm wiping the egg off, and I put all the shells in the bowl so that you're not getting them back onto the egg. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut each egg in half. Traditionally, you do it long ways. And then once I cut the egg, and be careful not to cut yourself, I'm going to scoop the yolk out into my mixing bowl. You can use a spoon, or sometimes the yolk just pops right out. There, make sure that you don't leave any yolk in the white, and that you do both sides. Here we are. So now I'm just going to repeat this process for the rest of my eggs. You have to be careful because sometimes the white is sensitive. I had a couple that I didn't get to cut long ways because they popped open in half. So now that all of my yolks are in my bowl, I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to mash them. You don't want them to be like a paste, but you do want them to be nice and crumbly and easy to mix with the rest of your ingredients. So this may take some time depending on how hard your yolks are. But you want to make sure you don't leave any hole. Now, once my yolks are to my liking, I'm going to spread them out in the bottom of my mixing bowl so that it's evenly dispersed when I add the other ingredients. The first thing I'm going to do is add some mayonnaise. And I'm using a spoon to get it into my measuring cup because I want to be sure that it's a true cup. So there we are. Now I'm going to scoop it in right on top of the yolks. So I just needed 1 cup of mayonnaise, and now I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of relish. Careful, I spilled mine a little bit. So I'm dropping that in. You can do a little more if you like. The original recipe only called for 1, but I like them with a little bit more, so I did 2. But you can adjust that to your liking. Same thing with our mustard, which is next. I'm only going to go for as the recipe calls, which is 1 teaspoon. Make sure you shake your mustard up before you use it because you don't want it to be watery. You want to make sure that you get actual mustard. There we go. 1 teaspoon of mustard is going into our mixture. So now this recipe is pretty basic, so that's all that we need for it. I'm scraping to make sure we use all of our mustard. And now I'm going to mix it all together. So we're mixing. You want to make sure everything is dispersed evenly throughout. You don't want to get a little pocket that's all mayonnaise and no yolk, or vice versa when we're filling our eggs. Now this recipe is only for 7 or 8 eggs, or 14 to 16 deviled eggs, since you cut them in half. But you could easily double or triple the recipe to make more. So we're still mixing. There, and see, it's a very yellow mixture, obviously, because we have mustard and the yolks. And now you can see how some of mine aren't perfect, and that's okay. But there's our mixture, and I'm going to put it into all of the egg halves. So here we go. Oops. So what you're going to want to do is take the mixture, a fairly good amount, but make sure that you have enough to go around, because you can always add more later. I like to put the spoon right in the middle and then turn it and scrape to make sure that the egg is filled and it doesn't make quite so much of a mess. So, and now that's what we're going to do for the rest of the eggs. So there we are. They're not perfect, but you could add any seasoning you like to the top. I like to put pepper, but of course you could put paprika for the color, and even though they're not beautiful, they still taste great.